we're going to be covering the self-education employability device. I'll take you through all of that. And this is an employability assessment that will just add value to the work, the good work that you're already doing. So, hello, my name is Chris. I'm a South African. My vision is every willing and able person flourishing in sustainable, decent, and meaningful work. So my vision, or my mission from that vision, is to see committed practitioners come together and share their potential for the betterment of all. Synergy really is strength, and I believe we share this vision. So we cannot remove the human factor from career development, from employability support or employment counseling. We will never, as much as many countries hope, we will never have a system that does everything and fixes everything. We are always going to need people and competent practitioners, committed practitioners, and people that work together as a unit. You'll really see those countries flourish. So some people draw their circle bigger than themselves, and I believe the group that is here today evidently draw their circle bigger than themselves. So I'm just going to give some group feedback, some of the things that have come up in the feedback. Thank you for the wonderful feedback that you provided in the registration form. So to change the world for at least one person, getting people employed, help my clients to be employable, making a difference in someone's life, assisting the community to be more employable, to make a difference in the lives of South Africans within the youth, to receive training on entrepreneurship. That's fine. Hello, Solet. To receive training on entrepreneurship in order to pass it on, to be more work seekers, to see more work seekers getting an opportunity to get into the labor market, to make a difference in society by enhancing the employability of South Africans, to be of assistance and to add value to the unemployed clients I'm serving, to be effective and bring about change that will impact the lives of the client in a positive manner. Hello, Miriam, thank you for that. My biggest goal is to prepare our clients and students for the world of work, to equip them with the much needed soft skills required in the workplace. The aim, hi Minnie, wonderful, thank you for joining. My aim is to help people find their unique career path and to help them gain the skills and knowledge to confidently step in the right direction. Finding a niche, socializing in a particular field, and being a specialist in a particular field of mental health. I've worked hard and continue working hard every day to be the best mental health worker that I can be. I strive for the best for myself and my clients. So as you can already see, the group that is here today, without doubt, is a group of people that are committed to seeing other people flourish in their careers. And what a joy and what a privilege it is for us to be able to have an impact on people's lives and support them in their career journeys and add value to their career journey. So this is such an important endeavor. And it's wonderful that we've got this group today that really do believe and feel the same way. I'd feel fulfilled, motivated, and inspired knowing that it's possible for people to be happy because they work in purpose-based businesses that positively impact them and their clients. I've always enjoyed assisting people and helping them achieve their goals of becoming employed, study further, and making career changes. This is meaningful to me as I've always experienced challenges in not believing in myself during a period of unemployment. And that one really does strike home because, as you know, when people are in unemployment for a long period of time, they begin to question themselves and their value. And just because the opportunities aren't there, they question their potential and who they are. And I think we really want to close that gap and help them to enter into meaningful employment. And the big question is how, and the big start is us coming together and engaging. And I think that is really where it begins. So I'm going to just begin the session with an intervention example, and just watch this video. And this is just one example of where it was implemented in Mpumalanga in rural digital campuses.
I'm Gia from the Mufukeng clan in the Mushweshwe Kingdom in Lesotho. Today we're in SEEDv2 at the Good Work Foundation to see and showcase the good work they've done in the SEEDv2 area within the Mpumalanga province. We had the privilege of meeting and getting to know some people in this beautiful place called Mpumalanga, which means the sun is rising.
My name is Anita. I'm an ICT student and I'm studying at GWF, which is located in SEEDv2.
I was one of the Bridging Academy students, and my vision and mission comply with what Good Work Foundation does, which is giving back to the rural communities.
I've seen people of SEEDv2 and seen the opportunities they have with their natural resources. We must look at the land and its people, and the careers that they do must relate to that. Those opportunities are available and can be created in their local community without leaving their own spaces.
It all comes down to young people having access to information. You find young people that have done really well, or you know that they're brilliant, they're out of high school or matric, and then they're sitting at home, and yet there are people that they can approach and ask, for help, whatever form, whether it's financial assistance or maybe you don't know how to apply. It's okay to ask for help.
The role that I do is to impart the knowledge that allows them to first know which careers that are driven by where we are.
On our background there is mountain. Mountains is full of flora and fauna. So the flora could be used to produce medicine within these communities. So it means that we'll have botanists, we'll have herbalists, pharmacists who will be coming from this area, who will be able to work in this area.
While being here only this week, I have seen car washes, boiler makers, farming, transport, and much more. The plantations of pawpaw, sugarcane. Therefore, the expansion of the agricultural services could create a very prominent economic stability, which can ensure that within agriculture, which is their niche area, they can be able to use that to strengthen their livelihood.
This is from the main tree before it goes to the market, and it tastes very sweet. And this is part of what we're looking for, that people must use what they have in their own space and have careers that can be utilized within their own area. It's very nice.
My name is Valentine. Miss, I'm the lady of love. Think of yourself as a tree. Then now you're still a seed. You need to grow. So
The purpose of us being here today is to see the center as well as assist career guidance practitioners with facilitating on the seed assessment, where we help young people to assess their skills to see if they are compatible for employability.
You guys have helped me realize where I fall in and where I don't. I have discovered who I am. I have discovered what I love.
Major plans for IT. I'm planning to take over the world with it, because it's just an access to the world actually, and it's something I'm really, really excited to figure out and see where my talent in it actually puts me.
You know what you want and you know your future. You're the one to determine it, so don't mind what other people are saying.
They say it is not over until it is over. You strive it until you make it. Never give up, guys. Please strive for success.
I came here without the knowledge. I didn't even know how to turn on a computer, but now I know how to type, I know where to press to copy, I know how to create a presentation. I'm going to take that back home with me. I'm going to share that with my friends, with my family, so that they can also come here and study and research more careers.
If you want to change the world, go home and love your family.
Bring that knowledge as a fountain. Sprawl it out and make sure that others are receiving it.
Someone says that wise men always ask questions. So can you help me is a question. Or may you help me? It's a question worth asking. And you'll be surprised. Always the answer is yes, because people do love to help. That's why I do what I do, because there's a feeling when you help somebody, it feels so good. It's like giving. And the more you do it, the better the feeling. So I love doing it because it makes me feel good. So it's a selfish act. Ask. It's okay. It makes you a bigger person.
What do you see? Where some see nothing, we saw a blank canvas to create a new world. Where the only thing our children hunger for is knowledge.
We saw that there's a need in the rural community. People are not exposed to technology. That's a need.
In a place called Hazy View, the Good Work Foundation was born, and with it, hope. Hope for the region, hope for its people, hope for a new Africa. We opened our first campus to give rural communities access to a new kind of education. And with this, we open minds to new possibilities. Now, with 5 campuses, 7,000 children access wonder-filled digital education every day, and hundreds of young adults are being empowered to thrive in the world of tomorrow.
I want to be financially independent, to build like a legacy for my family, and make sure that when I leave, they have something. I have something that I left them behind.
In all of the slides that you have.
Here, we have a curriculum designed to create citizens of the future, where people learn to become something more. We've set out to reimagine education, with open learning for young developing students and a bridging academy for adult learners looking to enter the working world. We looked at the region's needs and developed courses in hospitality, conservation, and IT.
There is more to GWF than just a computer. They teach us how to present ourselves, how to be confident in ourselves, and how to shape our future.
But knowledge and education mean nothing without the means to use it.
Opportunities are slim. Before I came to GWF, I was totally lost. Many people, they are not employed. After a school matric, they're sitting at home and then they do nothing. After that, they have no future.
So we created a place for our students to put their skills to work. And the Good Work Foundation grew, with its own sustainable social enterprise that employs alumni from the foundation, increasing both the employment rate and revenue stream for the area.
Oh, okay, all right. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
Where profits created opportunities for even more young people to grow their curiosity. We don't just nurture minds, we cultivate leaders. Leaders who give back to the region that help them grow. Here in Hazy View, we're building a vision for a new Africa, where good work creates great people.
So that is just a wonderful example of what is possible and what can be done in our country if we come together, we share our knowledge, and we share our resources together for the betterment of others. It really is possible, and when you come together, you know, that magical thing called synergy, of people working together and empowering each other, really does go a long way. So, hello world. The SEED is a qualitative self-scored employability assessment instrument. It is not a psychological test. The primary purpose of the SEED is to assist practitioners to design needs-based employability interventions. The SEED is not a predictor of an employability. It is an intervention guide for you to assist you in your engagement, your quality engagement with your client or your group of clients, just to help to focus your employability discussions and how you support people in their endeavors around employment. So what is the SEED? The SEED is a 60-item self-rated employability assessment. Each item is rated on 3 dimensions, and the dimensions are knowledge, importance, and experience. Each dimension is then scored on a 4-point Likert scale, which is low, average, high, and very high. And then the 60 items are grouped into 12 career categories. So just a brief history on the SEED is that it began as the Southern African Employability Inventory. In 2010, I completed my dissertation on the relationship between employability and emotional intelligence. There wasn't an employability assessment inventory or assessment in the country at the time, so I created one with the brilliant support of my supervisor, Professor Malindi Kutsia. And from that, the SEED was born, and since then it's really expanded from 5 concepts to 12 career categories now. The 12 career categories have been linked to nature and its tree. So one thing is, when I was implementing the Southern African Employability Inventory, is that while it dealt with skills like communication and financial management, it really didn't bring these complex concepts together for the person, and I never really saw the light come on, if you will have it. So, you know, when I introduced the framework of a tree, you know, one of the students said, you know, money does grow on trees, and it was just that aha moment, and it really does build as part of this process. So a major part of this is to actually help your clients to understand their full ecosystem of skills and see how they fit together. So it's not just an assessment to come and go. It's a concept that you're actually educating them on. So the 12 career categories, it enables you to give feedback on specific skills, but also on career categories. Just of interest, the highest ranking skill on the total population sample, it's currently based mainly in rural areas, but it's thankfulness, which is very interesting. And it would be nice to see a comparison between rural and urban skills that rank the highest, and that information will continue to grow and build as we progress in this new endeavor. The second highest ranking skill on the total population sample is dreams. And so never forget that our people, our youth, are so switched on. They've got dreams. We just have to help them connect the dots. The lowest ranking skill in the total population sample, also in rural areas, is sector orientation. People aren't exposed to different opportunities, as you know, especially in our rural areas. It's what you see. It's your doctor, your teacher, your nurse, your policeman, because it's what you're exposed to is where your realities are. So a big responsibility of us is to expose people to different opportunities and help them understand the sectors. So we want to show them and educate and take them through the different opportunities that are not only just in urban areas, but what local opportunities are available where they could apply their skills to. The second highest or second lowest ranking on the total population sample is area barriers. And so really assisting your clients to work through challenges that they face in the area, transport and water. There's just it's also connected at the end of the day that, you know, you can't expect a person to flourish in their career or in work if they're feeling unsafe at home and if their children do not have food. So this is a big connected process or a big connected ecosystem, but really we need to take it down to community level, one community at a time. So what is employability? It's being employable is about having the skills to find and keep sustainable, decent, and meaningful work. So this also includes self-employment. What is a skill? So a skill is the ability to complete a task or group of tasks in the best possible way. What is then the periodic table of skills? So what I've done is I've put all 60 skills that are in the framework into the periodic table of skills. And this just helps to visualize and understand the whole concept and have it there in front of them. So what I like to do when I am facilitating on the SEED is to also print these, preferably on cardboard and in color, and then leave that with the client as well, so that when you leave it, it's not just, oh, a quick discussion, but something that they can look at and just remember and put it up somewhere and allow that to just keep on being in their minds. So in terms of the career categories, as I said, there's 12 career categories. And so all 60 skills are categorized into the 12 categories. And as I said, the 12 categories have been linked to nature and its tree. And the career categories will help identify employability themes and further to the skills that you discuss with your clients. So here is the categories from 1 to 12. So number 1 is attitude. And so this is the elements of nature. Without a good attitude, without starting with things of attitude, you really can't bring the elements together. You can't have a bad attitude and flourish in your career in a sustainable manner. And while you could flourish in your job, others around you might not be able to flourish in their career. So when we're talking about flourishing, we're talking about a group of people flourishing together and not just one individual that's got a bad attitude but is good at their job. The second part is service, and that's the seeds. So without even being, without even working, you can still volunteer your time and get involved, because the opportunities that come around when you are serving really do create new opportunities and new value. So your creativity is the sap of the tree. And what that is, it's the lifeblood of the tree. And somebody could be in a difficult position, not knowing what to do, and really think creatively and get out the box. Number 4 is your barriers and the bugs. So the tree that I've used in this framework is the Papaya capensis, which is the jacket plum, or also known as the indaba tree. And what happens is there's a bug that comes to parasiticize the seeds before they grow. And this is really a need that people have to be employable. They need to work around their barriers and work with their barriers and just address their barriers as part of being employable. Then you get to your foundation, which is your core, and that is your sort of your roots. Then you get to your trunk, your sectors, which is your core. Then you get to your sectors, which are your branches, and those are the sectors of the economy and how people can look at different opportunities and work within their sectors. Then you get to your twigs, which is your branding. And this is, how do you brand yourself authentically and realistically that others can really understand where your skills are and how they fit within the organization. Then you get to your work, which is your leaves. And that's really, understanding how to work and the requirements of work. So as I said, each item is rated on 3 dimensions. So I've termed it the skills triangle. And so your clients, when they're thinking about their skills, or when you're trying to assist your clients to better understand their skill and how to develop their skill, you can show them and help them understand that to develop their skill, there are three areas. And the first one is knowledge, understanding how to develop a skill in terms of, let's say, for instance, time management, getting there, planning to get to places 15 minutes early, blocking your time, organizing your time, the day before. So these are different techniques that you can learn through knowledge. The second component is importance. So if a person finds a skill to be important, they will spend more time to develop that skill. If they do not believe it's important, they will then make excuses. So you want to help your clients to understand why certain skills are important. And then the third component, obviously, is experience. So the more you are practicing a skill, the better that you're getting. I did, and at the bottom it says, I did include the natural ability. So there were 4 components originally, but I realized that natural ability is something that is really out of a person's control. So when we're working with our clients, we want to work with them in a way that, in ways that they have control over. We do not want to engage with them on things that necessarily they don't have control. We want to empower them to take control and work with what they've got. And as you know, natural ability is not a guarantee. And people without even the natural ability, but discipline and commitment, can very often even outshine those with the natural ability. As I said, it's rated on a 4-point Likert scale. So then you'll see that, for instance, thankfulness, I stay thankful. And then they rate themselves on the knowledge, importance, and experience. And the 4-point Likert scale is low, average, high, and very high. So this is essentially a very important table to explain because, as you are aware, when you're working with clients and they are rating themselves, if they don't know how to rate themselves or what the scale is, they might end up just going for the average or going, just in between. So when you're looking at knowledge, you're looking at low, which is I've never heard about the skill before. Average, which I know a little bit about the skill. High is I know how to use the skill well. And very high, I know all the techniques to use the skill well. The next one is importance. And so low is the skill is not important to me at all. Average is the skill is important to me. High is the skill is very important to me. And very high is the skill is most important to me. And you could take time to give examples around this and just let this concept or the scale really settle in with your group before continuing through the assessment. Then experience is low, I've not used the skill before. Average, I use the skill sometimes. High is I use the skill most of the time, and very high is I use the skill every single day. So just to go through the SEED instructions, and this will be on the actual SEED. I'll show you the document just now, but this is on the tool. So you would then take them through the instructions. And so it would say, for instance, the SEED has been designed to help you rate yourself on your skills. You need to manage your career. So this is not just employability. When you look at these skills, you'll realize there's life design. There are life skills in there. There's employability skills, but it's also managing your career. It's not just being employable. It's just overseeing and making sure that you are covering all aspects of your career. Currently, there's 60 skills. I have developed 180 sub-skills and would then introduce them at a later stage. You rate yourself on each of the skills in the triangle, which you would have explained. Then you explain that you need to think carefully when rating yourself very high, as this means you've reached the highest level in that skill. You respond to each and every statement by marking the number that indicates your choice. And if you're not sure about a skill, go to the SEED description to find out more. So for each of the 60 items, there is a description, and that is another document that you give to them and you print for them. And it just then allows them to, when they get to an item they're not clear on, instead of just rating themselves without being sure, they can go to the descriptions and understand what that statement really means. Then, so because it's obviously the paper version, there's a component of scoring, self-scoring that takes place. And this is how the scoring looks. Preferably, you would have your clients, you would have them working with a calculator if possible, but it is a good exercise in mathematics. So what you would do there is add those skills together to get a total for that part of your employability. So for attitude, there are 4 skills that fit into that category, and then they would complete those 4 skills. Calculate those 4 skills, add them together, and then divide them by that number. And that will then give them a percentage. So on the spot, they are giving themselves percentages and giving themselves the rating. So you would see at the end of the report, you would have averages for each of the skills. So you could see, sure, there's this skill that is very low, or you could look at the categories and then build your support around that. You add all the scores together to get your total, and then you divide this by the total percentage to get your total average. So the idea is to set tasks to grow the skills and parts that are low and average as a start, so that you can increase your overall employability. The idea is not just to get good at things like communication and financial management. The idea is to get good at all of these skills, because they really work in unison and in synergy in ensuring a person is confident and aware of their skills, that when they are asked about their skills, they can give a very confident and solid answer. So here is an intervention option. And just to let you know, we are moving quite good with time, so we will probably not go through to the full hour and a half. This is just one way to apply the intervention. So you allocate at least 2 hours to completing the seed. You provide then the paper-based and seed and the descriptions to your client, preferably in color copies. The periodic table is available on the website, which you could print that as a poster and hand that out. But preferably in color really does add life to it. Maybe you would just want to do the descriptions, which they can then be left with as for reference. You then introduce yourself, the employability concept. You introduce the skills triangle, and then you discuss and introduce the rating scale, and you take time in that. Then you get the group to complete to item 34, and that's pretty much halfway through the seed, and then they take a break. It's quite a process of thinking, and if you want them to do it and not rush, but really spend their time to consider it. And what findings are is that going through the full 60 upfront really is quite takes a lot of focus. So if you can split that, it really just gives them a brain break for that moment. Then they complete up to item 60, and then you give them another break. And then you score the seed together with your client. And then an option is you can then go to www.employability and work through the skills which are low. So after this presentation, I'm just going to show you, after the slide, I'll show you a brief demonstration of what you can do with your client. So you've now completed the seed with them. They're sitting there with scores that are higher and lower. And now they want to go and understand more about those skills. So if they are fortunate enough to have internet, or if you've got a computer connected to a presentation, you could then use that to guide the initial discussion. So as an example, I'm just going to unshare my screen and take you to the website. Okay. And then as an example here, so if you go to the website www.employability.co.za, you'll see that there's a nice new concept or new tab that has been included in there called the periodic table of skills. So this is what the poster looks like, but on the website is all the content is actually there behind it. So if you click on, let's say, thankfulness, for instance, it'll take you to that skill. There is a video that covers that skill, an introduction, benefits, a skill example, and a case study. So this can just help your client in understanding more about the skill. You'll find that the videos are very nice, very useful, but my major intention is to ensure that our videos are South African and relatable. And I think that really will go a long way in really driving home that concept for your client on that skill. So moving on now, I'm just going to take you through, before we go through some questions and answers. Before I go to the next stage, I want you to know at the end of these slides, I'm going to be giving you my email address and my cell phone number. And when you are implementing the SEED, if you have any challenges, any queries or victories that you want to share, you're more than welcome to contact me, and I will always assist as far as I can. So essentially, what you're going to be receiving now is the SEED. And let me just show you that document as well. Just a second. There we go. So that's how the SEED looks like. Leslie, you've got your hand raised. Would you like to say something? Leslie, if you wouldn't mind, if you could just type in your question. Yeah, I see Q&A. Are there any cost implications for students? Okay, let's quickly go to these questions. The first one was, good morning, any CPD? There's no CPD for this SEED webinar. That's a very good idea. I will apply for CPD, so then it will be useful for that. Is the SEED also available in other languages such as Afrikaans? The SEED is not yet available in other languages, but that is something that I think it is important to work towards. An interesting point from a rural perspective was I did query with them to ask, do they feel that we should, translate it into different languages? And their view was to keep it in English, because that is quite often a language of business, of work. But I tend to be on the wire on this. From my perspective, if a person is working on career-related or personal endeavors, it's one of those things that you really want them to feel free and not to have language barriers when working on things of their personal career. So I do believe that we should translate the SEED into different languages. So, and Leah, thank you for that. Clinton, you're asking, are there any cost implications for the students? You essentially, there are no cost implications for that unless it's your time and your cost. So after this session, I will give you, from tomorrow, I'll send you the recording and I'll give you a copy of the SEED, which you can then print and use in your work. There's no cost to that, and you can then just utilize it. And then if your clients are in a position to pay for your time, you could then charge that from your side. This is how, thanks Clinton. This is how the SEED looks. So they put in their name, their surname, their favorite tree, favorite saying. It's not asking more biographical information because it's not being used now for further statistical reasons other than the implementation for your clients. It's got an introduction and descriptions of the SEED, the skill and the skills triangle and how that works. You'll see there then the license is a BYNCND, which is you can use it. And where it says not commercially is you can't sell the assessment as just on the paper. You can use your time, but you should not sell the assessment. It should be made available. Leslie, I see your hand is raised. I think, let's just see, if you could just type into the Q&A and then I could maybe answer you there. Can the SEED be used independently by the work seekers without getting any mediation from the facilitator? And Rata, I think that's a very good question. And I believe it could to some extent. So I think the paper version, they should essentially, they would need to know how to, understand the concepts, understand the process. But, the idea is, where to from now? And so if they're doing the paper version, what are they doing it for? They get feedback on different skills, but then where do they go from there? And so my suggestion is that there's always a human there's, as much as possible, we've got a practitioner involved to assist. And this is used as a qualitative tool really help guide a discussion and guide a intervention. I will, and I am currently working to have the online version made available on the website on the front end for free. So then you would be able to go, they would be able to go on there, and then their results would then link to their periodic table. And then they would then, it would just help to guide their learning. So again, it wouldn't be used as a predictor or a director, it would just be used for their learning. So a colleague of mine is interested to be an employability champion. What is the criteria to be an employability champion? Thanks for that, Clinton. So I will then go through to that at the next part coming up now. So here's what it looks like. There's the skill triangle, which will explain. And then your clients go through each of the items, and then they work through those items, and then they work out the averages. So in that case, it might be a 3 and a 2 and a 1, and then they would have to work out the average. I have noted that sometimes for individuals, there can be errors in doing that calculation and averaging out. So it is something just to be aware of, is that just to be there and support these individuals. So the idea is not that we just send out and distribute assessments and have people just doing it on their own. And and at the same time, we want to empower people to manage their own career and take control of their career. But I do believe that having the human competent practitioner there goes a long way. So there are the 60 items. The SEED has been validated as fit for purpose, and I'll also send you a link. It is on the website by JVR Psychometrics as a employability skills assessment. And then there's the categories, and they go through. I'll just also, if you don't mind, I'll also briefly show you what the SEED descriptions will be. And this is what you'll also be getting through tomorrow. I'll send you that information as well. And so for every skill, when they're going through it, they can understand that. So let's say thankfulness. Being thankful is the first step to achieving anything of real value in life. Staying thankful through all of life's difficulties is what sets the good apart from the great. Spend your time thinking about all the good things you can be thankful for. So if they didn't understand thankfulness, or I remain thankful, they could come to their descriptions and then read that as they're going through the assessment. Now, Clinton, I'm just going to now go into that and show you what this one looked like. I'm just going to answer Brian Hellman. Thanks, Brian. Within our work at the Department of Employment and Labor, it will be in all likelihood not possible to administer the SEED on an individual basis. We work in groups as much as we can. Do you support using the SEED in a group context, whereby work seekers complete the SEED in a group but not individually, and a career counselor from the department facilitates, assists, and assesses the process? So thanks for that, Brian. All my interventions, all the assessments, all the times that I've done the intervention, it's been in group-based scenarios. So you would work in a group. I would believe that essentially you wouldn't want the group size to be bigger than 40, unless you've got co-facilitators that can support groups in, let's say, groups of 10. I do believe 20 to 30 is a good number, because you want to engage and you want the group to engage. There certainly is for group interventions. And what you would then do is, from the group, everyone is scoring themselves, you are getting results, and then you can pick up patterns and themes, and then you could provide further support or do a presentation on the specific pattern themes, the specific career categories that are low. So it definitely is for group-based interventions. So just a brief demonstration, or just a brief demonstration on the National Employability Certificate. So this sort of joins part of the SEED. The SEED is part of this certificate. I've been working on this concept and the content for a number of years in the system. And my intention for this, and just so everyone is clear, is that the purpose of this National Employability Certificate and the purpose of what I am working to achieve is something for this country, It is not something for myself, so it is something that is for all of us to get involved and to co-support and put this in a structure, possibly a non-profit organization, where we could really bring this to scale and implement it in basic education, higher education, and the Department of Employment and Labor to start, but in organizations. And the idea is, once we've built a credible certificate that industry can trust, then the certificate would get a lot more credibility in the minds of our youth, which it already is gaining that credibility. So the National Employability Certificate, it's an online pre-assessment. There are 60 modules. There's a dynamic periodic table of skills, which I'll show you. There's a digital logbook on the tasks. Then the tasks get rated and feedback is provided. And I'll talk to you about that interesting one just now. And then they'd complete an online SEED post-assessment. And then the score, the report gives them the change from the first time they completed the SEED to the second time. They also then get 60 skill badges. There's a dynamic certificate that grows. And what would happen if you attended the course is then you receive a course code at the end. You would have to go through the full course. And then at the end of the course, you then get a course code, which you can then register an unlimited amount of clients through. The employability certificate is accredited with the Health Professions Council for 60 CPDs. So I'm just going to also now just briefly take you through, do a quick demonstration of what that looks like, and then we'll be done for the day, just so we don't have to spend too much time. So you see there, just like in the paper version, but your description is there up front. They then go through and then they rate themselves on knowledge, importance, and experience. That would give themselves a score. They then continue through and they would go through again. If you're doing it online, the suggestion is that you just keep it doing half up to 30 and then 30 more. I see there's other questions and I'll then cover them here. Let's just go through here and just going to get through this part. So they go through, they complete the SEED, and then they would then complete. And then when it ends, they then get the report and their score, and then their report is automatically scored for them. And then that just assists the process and time, because the time taken to add and score, I know it's good for mathematics, but if you are, do not have the time availability and do have access to technology, this is a lot simpler process to go through. Once they've then completed that, then their modules open up for them. And before I go into the modules, let me just answer some questions. Rata, is there any effort to incorporate the SEED into the existing education, entrepreneurship, and skills development curriculums? So the recommendation has been put forward to the Department of Basic Education. The request is there, and the opportunity or the offer to integrate it is being made. I am engaging with the department and making it available. So the idea is that we would bring this in as phased education. It would come in from early childhood development, where the individual would be coloring in books, tree starter kits, growing little beans, understanding that and just understanding the concepts. And then we would move to the 12 career categories of attitude and service and creativity and sectors and networking, and cover the 12 as we go. And then as they get to high school, they would then go into the full 60 skills and work through those 60 skills as they move through high school. And then once they go to post-school education and training, they could then work into the 180 skills. So let's say, for instance, emotions. The sub-skills for emotions are things like emotional honesty, emotional control, emotional management. And as much as we don't always believe, all of these skills play a part in a person's employability. It's not just, oh, let's do 10 skills and now we're all going to be employable. It really is a lot bigger than that, I believe. Is the SEED for all grade level of schooling? Monde, it has been used for grade 9s onwards. There are aspects relating to the concepts and the terms, I found in your rural areas, what they're doing is they're identifying, the individuals would identify which are the terms they feel that their students, their group, or their clients are going to struggle with, and then they explain those terms up front just to get over the language aspect. Hilda, thanks Hilda for joining us, and Hilda is really a wonderful facilitator, practitioner, and she's already, you know, this model, this framework is not just a fixed framework that will never change. We want it to grow, we want it to evolve as time moves on. So what Hilda has already put forward, which I fully concur, is that on the in the elements in terms of passion, we should replace that passion with the word of meaning, which is more around the lines of ikhai, which, you know, while a lot of the fact is that a large majority of people do not know what their passion is, and while they do not know what their passion is, they could still do and be part of meaningful work and know that the work that they're doing is feeding their family and supporting their community. So we don't just want to say that if you're not doing what you're passionate about, you'll never be successful. We want to say that you need to find meaning in your work. So that one will be updated in the next version 3 that will come up. Rosita Road from Careers and Industry Liaison section at the Central University of Technology. I need to take part in the training. Sorry, Leslie, if you don't mind just to put it into the Q&A. I need to take part in the training, but I'm qualified with an honors degree in community education. Is there a possibility to still continue with the National Employability Certificate without being a registered psychologist, counselor, or psychometrist? I'd like to assist students before they enter the workplace. Rosita, I think the whole reason why, you know, why this has been developed is for people that are not necessarily, you know, psychologists or registered with the Health Professions Council. The fact is that we need to, you know, we need to just be very cognizant of how we, and I'm being very cognizant of how this will be rolled out and implemented, because let's say, for instance, if we've got individuals that are not, let's say, you know, are not able to give good quality feedback or not yet competent to provide good support. So your level of education certainly puts you in a position to do that. So you're welcome to just email me and then we can take the discussion further. Just remember that this is you know, the start of something new, and that is why we've gone through this process of really taking it slow for now. But the idea is we would implement it further and further, and that at some stage even educators could provide it. So let me just quickly go through before we then finish off. It's 11 o'clock now. I know we did say 11:30, but let's move on because I know people do have things on the go. So when you go through, you'll see that you've got your categories open up in phases, and that they will then open up once per week. The person goes through, they go into their categories. This is for thankfulness. I go into thankfulness. Here is the content. What's different to what you'll see on the front end website is a few things. Number one is the skill task. The tasks are not there. So for every module, there's not just a questionnaire, but there's tasks. So they go in, they go through this skill, they take the assessment. And once then they take the assessment, and I'll explain also, Rosita, I'll explain your answer very shortly, even with this. Going through, gives you all of that. Okay. Then they complete the questions and finish. Okay, so once they then have completed the questions, they then are able to edit their digital logbook. So they could then go and complete their skill in their own time and then put that in. So think about a person you're thankful for. If possible, make contact with them and let them know. In your logbook, write a paragraph, what happened, what you learned, and how you'll do things differently next time. So this is my task, and here is my answer. So this is what the person would type in, and this is where it gets interesting. So once they've now completed the task, they're now building up what is called their digital skills logbook. And I'll download it and then share that with you so you can see what's going on there. Sorry, just a second. Okay, so the digital logbook, and this is, Rosita, based on your question, because what an employability champion would do is they go through the task. This is what the person has done. So they would then look at that task and then they would give them a rating and they would give them comments. Now, the idea is because when a person's doing, you don't just want them to do a module and do questions. You want them to complete the task, and then you want to give them quality feedback on that task. And the person who's giving feedback needs to understand the pedagogy of education and be competent to give sound advice and to competently rate the person. If the person's not being rated competently, then the rating would never hold credibility in industry, and then the certificate will never grow in that sense. What I've also found, and this is the big point which I wanted to raise, is that the spelling and errors sometimes that practitioners make is something we have to consider. So, you know, there's often very good quality, rich feedback, but with the errors, you know, if I had to do a task and give my feedback, but somebody's giving me feedback and there are errors in what feedback I'm getting, there would be a loss of credibility immediately. So I have understood that we need to bring in possibly an invigilator who would come in, and the employability champion would agree to the invigilator to editing their spelling and grammar where needed, and reviewing the rating that the person's got before their rating moves forward. And I know it sounds quite contentious, and it's something we have to consider carefully, but would you want your clients receiving feedback, or would you want people receiving feedback with errors in them? And I'm sure that you would agree that we don't want that. So as they're going through, what's nice here, and I'll take it to the periodic table, and then we're finishing up. As I said, the career categories get released one per week. So the darker ones are the career categories that have not yet been completed. If it's red, that means the module is open, but I haven't done the assessment yet. If I've done the assessment, but haven't done the task, it will then go to yellow. And then if I've done the task, and then it then goes to green. And then once it gets rated, it would then open up, and that would then become their skills badge. Then going back to the dashboard and just closing up here. The last one is the skill certificate. So as your client, or as you complete more of the certificate, more, and let me just share this with you here. As you are, just opening it up. So as more modules are completed, you'll see there for 1 hour towards completing the National Employability Certificate. So as a module is completed, the hours automatically build and build and build. And so you or your client could then at any stage download the certificate and put it into their CV and use it. So that's the process in a nutshell. And let's come into the end now. Just so you know that the webinar recording and a soft copy of the SEED version 2 and the skills descriptions version 2 will be provided to you tomorrow. A link to Des and Jill's Career Hub with the registration information will be provided. This is for the certificate. To register for the certificate, it is through Des and Jill's Career Hub. And then you're welcome to follow that link should you wish. So I'm stopping my sharing now, and I'll just do some question and answers, and then can take it from there. So Rata asked, is the SEED linked to a referral database of avenues, opportunities when individuals can develop their needed skills? So at the stage, and Rata, this is, you know, this is just incredible what you're saying in terms of the potential of where this can go to and how we can support individuals when in need of support. So at the moment, for each skill, there's a module, there's information, there's tasks, there's a skills logbook, there are skills badges, but linking it then to a referral network of competent practitioners that could maybe assist with a live online session, or if that's a local area, maybe they could book an appointment, or, I'm not sure where this could go to, but I do know that the potential is really limitless. But the thing is that this is something we need to do together. I've been working to get it to this point, and I believe that then we can grow it together into something that can serve our whole country and continent potentially. Mosue, is it possible for you to send us the recordings by emails? So yes, so everyone that's attended and registered for this webinar, I will email you the recording, the link to the recording, together with the seed, with the seed descriptions, and with the link to Des and Jules tomorrow. Rosita, the quality control from a higher education perspective is critical to the weight the course will carry, should it be rolled out at the University of Technology such as ours. I'm in agreement with the presenter that this needs to have qualifications framework in keeping with the national standards. Is it possible to also be part of the panel of moderators for future good practice? Rosita, thank you so much. This is, absolutely fully concur with you. And I do believe that this needs to be taken forward into a qualification, into potentially, and linked to that. But at the same time, this course and this process is about personal and professional development. There are multiple graduates that, let's say, for instance, have qualifications that are registered but may not necessarily be employed. So the idea and the intention is that we want to empower and expose people to their skills. If you are somebody and after this session, let's finish early and just find somebody and ask them, a younger person or even any age, and say, tell me about your skills, and find what their answer will be. And you will probably have identified the problem, is that our learners are going to the schooling system and in the education system for 12, 13 years of basic education. And then they leave this full-time education system and they have no idea about their skills. And if you ask them about their skills, you've lost them. So how can a person market themselves and understand their value if they don't understand their skills? There are some lucky ones that know exactly what they want to do and have been brought up with great mentors and support and all of that. But there's many individuals that don't have that. So our goal and the basic principle of this purpose is that we can support people and help to empower them, that they realize, wait, I've got a set of skills, I've got skills, understand their full set of skills and support them in constructing and managing their own career, where we become, mentors or supporters more than test and tellers, and helping them to predict their career. So it's a moving step by step. I do believe the idea is that we want to move each step carefully and together and not get too far ahead, because we know the needs of our country. We know the needs of people out there, and our needs and the support that we have to provide is not necessarily just an urban support. It is throughout the country, and we need to find ways. And it can't be done just alone. We need to work together on this, and we really need to support one another in achieving this. So it's going to be a good journey, and so you are welcome to to join the course or go and look at that information tomorrow. But even still, all of that aside, you will be receiving the seed. You will be receiving the paper version and the descriptions. There's my cell phone number. It will be on the recording as well. There's my email address. So contact me if you've got any issues, if I can be of any assistance in the way, or along the way, and I'll really do my best to support, because I do believe we can turn this country and assist our young people to really be connected. And if we ensure that this process and and the certificate gains good credibility, we can really gain good support and traction for those that are willing and able. You know, the program in this course, and what I've realized is that we can only help and support and assist people that are interested to be helped and supported. And if they're not yet interested, then this really is not yet for them. So that for me is a big starting point, is that the people that do part of this, and the people that do the seed, and the people that you need to ensure that they are interested first, as you are well aware, before assisting them. So Rosita, just in closing, you said agreed. I have worked with students for the past 7 years and acknowledge that they do not understand describing their skill set or career path, self-management. So thanks so much. So yes, so that is a challenge, and it's not too late. Even at the University of Technology or at any stage, we want to empower people that when they walk into a room, when they meet somebody new, they feel confident to explain themselves and to say, well, I'm not there yet. Here's my skills. These are the skills I'm working on. This is the skills you've got and your organization provides. And this is the values that you stand for. These are my values, and I believe I can make a difference. And already just imagine that open line with a potential employer, how that would set that person apart from the rest who just arrive and want to find a job. So thank you very much. And it's been my pleasure. If you've got any other questions, you can raise it now. Otherwise, I'll be finishing for the day. I'm sorry for any technical issues. This was our first run, so next time will be a lot better. So thank you all. Thank you, Celeste, and we'll be speaking soon. Please make contact with me and let me know if you have anything. Thank you, Lazel. Thank you all. Thanks, Amina. Thank you, Shirley. Thanks, Birgit. And thanks, Alia, Lectus. And we'll be speaking soon. Thanks a lot.